Sleep is absolutely wonderful. No matter what you felt yesterday, if it was anxiety, frustration, anger, no matter what it was, disappointment, or even good emotions, but mainly the bad ones, just disappear. It's as if your mind thinks that yesterday was a dream. And it is absolutely wonderful. Not only your emotional life resets, but also your psychological life. Everything that you were thinking, all of your negative thinking patterns, everything just seems like it's a dream. It gets reintegrated into your psyche. It just gets reevaluated and you get back to a baseline. It is absolutely wonderful. Even if you have one of the worst days of your life, the next day, it's as if all of it was a dream. It is quite interesting what the mind does during sleep. This total reset of everything. But you have to understand that it doesn't stop just there. It also resets your energy levels. Sure, if you overextended yourself in all directions, you're going to be exhausted the next day as well. But usually, it's not like that. You actually replenish all of your energy and you wake up in the morning feeling refreshed, even if you worked hard and you were stressed the last day. The point is that that's a great feature. You can just take it to your own advantage. You can just put it to work. You can know that every time you overexpand, the next day you just reset back. And it's wonderful. It is absolutely a hack. Once you start to see that if you really go beyond what you can do and get a little bit more exhausted, and then the next day, you just feel refreshed. In fact, you feel even better because you don't feel all of those things that you felt at the end of the day before you went to sleep. Not only in terms of the emotions, but physically. You start to feel bad at the end of the day because you've overextended your capacities. And then the next day, you actually feel refreshed. And if you continuously do this, over and over and over again, your abilities increase. Your ability to expand energy, your ability to have emotional resilience, your ability to think better, to actually act in a certain way that doesn't exhaust you, but you still get to do all of the things that you want. You have this ability. And once you realize that this is so, you can just do more things each day. You can start to exert yourself not only physically, but also intellectually and emotionally, because you know that the next day is a reset. Not only that, but it's more than a reset. It's an integration of all of the things that happened. So if you felt frustration, if you felt anger, anxiety, all of these bad emotions, your mind finds a way to integrate those things and resolve them somehow. And even if they don't get resolved, they're not going to really stick around, especially if they're not part of your baseline. They just reset. They just get better over time. And the point is that most people don't understand this. They view themselves as batteries. They view themselves as if they continuously just get more energy out, they're going to have less and less and less because they're going to wear out that battery. But in fact, it's not that way. It's the opposite. When you just put in more and more and more effort, you grow your capacity to expand into new behaviors, new projects. Everything around you becomes easier because you have more energy, because you've demanded more, so you've increased your capacity. The point is that we work differently than batteries. In fact, the opposite. A battery, the more you use it, the harder it is for it to hold the charge. But for humans, we adapt. We are biological beings. The more we do something, not only do we get more energy the next day, or if we continuously do this, we increase our capacity to be more productive, to be more efficient, to expand more energy in that direction. But also, we become more efficient at really running those resources and understanding how to efficiently manage them. Our mind just gives us more bandwidth as we do a task more and more and more. It just becomes like a well-oiled machine. It just becomes so easy to just do more because you don't have to think anymore, because you don't have to really consciously do anything. You've done it so many times and you went through that cycle of reintegrating every night the experience that you start to not require any more energy from doing those things. And that's the point. At that point, you're not really expanding any more of your internal resources. You're just doing what you did for the last 50, 300, whatever many hundreds of days you've done before. It is absolutely wonderful. And it all boils down to this fact. We are not batteries. We are humans. And humans adapt to the effort that we give them each day. We just have this adaptation. We adapt to our environment. We adapt to our social life. We adapt to everything. All the stress, everything. We just adapt. Point is to try to go a little bit more, so that when you don't have that stress, when you don't have that much to do, you feel amazing because you have all of this excess energy. You see, most people try to conserve energy as opposed to have excess energy, to build excess energy. When you are trying to conserve energy each day, you get less and less as time progresses. Instead of getting more and more, the more you expand energy each day. I'm not talking about spiritual stuff. I'm just talking about the amount of energy that you have to output. The more you expand, the more you get in the next weeks, months, and so on. The less you expand, the more it contracts. So much so that you get to feel tired all the time. That is not really because you are doing too much. That is because you are probably doing too little, not expanding enough energy the way you should by just doing more. The point is that you have to understand that by expanding more energy, you get more. That's how people can just have a job, and then go to the gym, and then do hobbies, and then go out, and then do it over and over and over again. And in the weekends, they go on beautiful hikes. How do they have all of this energy? How do they have this? Are they different? No, they just built that capacity. They said, no, I cannot live like this anymore. I want to have more energy. So they started each day just running a little bit, just doing a little bit of sports, every single day increasing it. And they've increased it to the point where now they have just a lot of energy. They're full of life, brimming with light and positivity. And you can do it as well.